You're listening to the Save the Date podcast, where we talk all things weddings, jewellery and romance. With love from Cullen Jewellery.
Hello and welcome back to the Save the Date podcast. I'm Sheridan.
And I'm Juliette, and we are so happy you're here.
We have another very exciting episode today because we are joined by yet another guest. Today we have Gareth from Solasta Wedding Films. So hi Gareth and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. An absolute pleasure to be here.
It is a pleasure to have you. We're super excited to, get your knowledge and be able to share all of that with our listeners.
I know a little bit.
A bit of experience.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you kick us off by telling us a bit about yourself, what you do and how you got into the wedding industry?
A little bit about myself. Well, my name's Gareth. I run Solasta Wedding Films and been doing that. I've been professionally doing wedding films probably for the past, you could say, about 8 years throughout different companies and different things like that, and have recently sort of in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years-ish, sort of gone out on my own. Been done all sorts of films, like between short films, music videos, corporate, and then basically got into doing wedding films. And I can absolutely say it's been the most gratifying genre of films and stuff like that I've been able to do. And yeah, I absolutely love and adore what I do. Yeah, wedding filmmaker, yeah.
That's great. That's so good to hear. So also just a side note for everybody listening and watching, if you're watching on YouTube, Gareth actually was the videographer at my wedding. So
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I told you this.
Yeah, you got the inside scoop.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So technically speaking, Gareth wasn't actually there on my wedding day. So this is the first time Gareth and I are meeting in real life, but we have spent a lot of time chatting and Gareth has obviously seen a lot of me.
I have. I've seen you one of the most special days of your life.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, when I walked in, I felt like I already knew you.
Yeah.
Even though we hadn't met in person, we spoke a lot over emails and the phone and Instagram and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been really nice meeting you.
It is. Yeah. It's very, very fun. So just a little side note for everybody.
Yeah.
So getting into, the wedding side of things, what would you say your favorite part of your job is?
Favorite part of the job is, I guess you could say it's seeing things that a lot of other people don't see on the wedding day.
Yeah.
You know, with the bride and the groom, they're so busy on the wedding day, running around, making sure everything's working properly and stuff like that. And their mind's just everywhere, just trying to take the day in. I get to see all the small parts of the wedding day. I get to see a lot of behind the scenes of a wedding day. Like one of the most special parts for me is like the father seeing his daughter for the first time, or a brother seeing his sister, or the mom seeing his her daughter and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just all the in-between sections of the day. Like the big moments like the wedding and the ceremony and the vows and everything like that are really special and beautiful to capture. But it's all like the little things in the moments with like grandparents and stuff like that I find most gratifying of filming on the wedding day. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So you are a wedding videographer, and
Correct.
a lot of the time, I guess, people toss up whether or not they're going to get a videographer or if they just want the photographer.
Yep.
What would you say, or can you talk about, the importance of actually having a videographer at your wedding?
That's a very, very good question, because a lot of meetings I do have with couples is they will say, oh, we're sort of tossing up, thinking about whether to have a videographer there on the wedding day. And then by the end of the meeting, or especially after the wedding day, they're like, I'm so glad you were there. Like 100%, it would have been a mistake not to have you there. And it's easy for me to say that to a couple, like, you will regret it. It sounds very threatening when I say, like, you will regret it if you don't have me there on your wedding day. But it's just, obviously you'd have a photographer there on your wedding day. Super important to capture all those memories and things like that and all those moments. But video brings an extra layer to your wedding day and the memory of your wedding day, because having been married myself, I don't remember a thing about my wedding day because it just flies by so quick. And having a videographer there to capture all of like I said, those in-between moments and things like that, and like maybe like your father giving like his speech, or like someone that's super close to you, like a grandma on the dance floor and things like that. And stills can tell a story, they absolutely can, but video can bring an extra layer of movement and sound, and things like that. And you might get like your uncle like filming the speeches on his iPhone, but then he'll be filming it the wrong way and filming his face the whole time in selfie mode. And Yeah, it's just great. And it's also good to have a team of people there on your wedding day is there, because we're not just wedding videographers, we're also hype people as well to come along and make you feel comfortable and essentially go above and beyond as well. I couldn't tell you how many dresses I've helped the bride get into and stuff like that. It doesn't sound right when I say that, but like I don't see anything whatsoever, but you know, just being a friend on the wedding day, but having a wedding videographer definitely brings an extra layer to you remembering the day, because you know there's hours of footage that's captured that you have not seen or even thought happened on the wedding day. It's moments. I think in my Instagram video, the first one on the tile, I talk about moments, and there's just so many that it just comes back to you don't see it, but we see it because we live and breathe it, and it's just so important to have that captured the way that only videography can.
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard a lot of people say the same thing as well, even like to back you up, how people, just like, oh, I'm so glad I got video done.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I would say, I don't want to say 100% of the brides say that after the wedding day, but I would say like 95% will come back and say, I'm so glad you were there, especially when they get all their footage as well. So they get all the speeches and the first dance, you know, the multiple cameras and stuff like that that's filmed, and just having that audio of like your husband, because I'll mic the groom up as well, and he might see his bride come around the corner for the first time, and he might go, oh my God, wow, she looks amazing.
I love watching those on TikTok.
I know,
Yeah,
Like my
exactly.
favorites to watch is
The
just like the groom's mic, or like when the bride doesn't like necessarily know he's got a mic on, and she says something to him like when they first get down the aisle, and he's like, I've got a mic on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you didn't hear or even know he said that about you on your wedding day. And it's like on your film as well, like how it starts off as well, as like your emotional little talking about Harrison, and that really gets to me and makes it all worthwhile to capture.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe I should post my wedding video sometime, or just like the little
very,
snippet.
very good.
It is very,
I'd say it's like top 3 in the world for sure.
But at the start, what the videographer that we had there on the day like made me talk about Harrison was probably like half an hour before I walked down the aisle, and I had not been emotional for like the whole day yet. Yeah. And then he's like, so tell me about Harrison. Like I haven't probably met him yet. And I was like, tears.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. That, like as soon as I saw that footage, I was like, that is a moment right there. Yeah. That's going in the film for sure. No, you did very well. It was beautiful.
I was like, don't put me on the spot. Now I'm going to cry.
Yeah. And that was a moment captured by videography.
Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't have had that.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think like on the other side, you were saying everyone's so grateful that they get a videographer. I know people that didn't get a videographer, and then after the fact, they're like, oh, you know, if we could go back in time and redo it, we would definitely have gotten one.
Yeah, sure.
You know, even like I know someone that they just like recorded it themselves. They were pretty like tech savvy and had a few pretty decent cameras, and they set the cameras up and were kind of recording the ceremony and everything. And then I don't think they ever really just got around to editing it, because it's just
that's a part
really
of it as
job.
well. Yeah, it's a part that I guess people don't recognize, is that we do a lot of work after the wedding day as well to make an absolute perfect representation of your day. And, you know, you might either not have the skill set to do that or the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because after you get married, you're going on your honeymoon, and then you're coming back to work. And then, I don't know, if you're trying for a family and stuff like that, like life gets in the way of putting those moments together. And it just sort of sits in the wayside for a while, and you never get back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about editing, can you talk us through a little bit of your editing process and kind of like how you actually decide what goes in and what doesn't?
It's funny to say, like my brain is so there on the day filming, but also whilst I'm filming, I'm building the edit in my head.
Okay.
So like if the groom says something like quite emotional, I'm like, okay, all right. I reckon that's going to fit in this little slot here type thing in the edit. Or if there's a really nice speech or a funny speech or something like that, a humorous anecdote, I sort of build that into like, it's so hard to say how I do it on the day, but in post-production, when it comes to it, I will go through every single frame of footage, you know, to make sure I only put in like the best moments. Because we capture like hours of footage, you know, hours and hours of footage. And it has to boil down to like, say, like a 5 to 6 minute highlight film, essentially. Yeah. It's really just picking those moments and picking the right music as well when it comes to putting a film together, a song that sort of represents the couple, represents the day, the vibe that the couple were going for. And yeah, just like going back and forth in the edit to make sure that everything slots in and there's a nice rhythm, a nice under rhythm. There's a rhythm to wedding films that a lot of people don't see
Yeah.
or feel it until you watch the whole thing. And also as well, I was thinking the other day, it's like I do not send a film to a couple until I get goosebumps watching the film.
Wow.
Like there's a moment, and if I don't get goosebumps watching the film back, then I've missed something, and I will go back in and search for that and put that in. But editing, especially if I film it, it's quite easy to put together with me being there on the day. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's just it's more of a feeling when it comes to editing, so that you're not doing the same film over and over and over again, because every couple is different. Every wedding day is different, even if it's the same formalities, happening. Every couple is different, and every film should feel different and personal as well to the couple.
I love that.
Yeah. I imagine then that would like make things, I guess, a little bit harder if you do have like someone standing in for you on the day.
Sure.
Like, for example, my wedding.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you don't have that moment, obviously, during the day where you're like, oh, this is going to go in. You have to really comb through all of that footage to like find those moments, I guess.
One, it's an absolute pleasure to go through all the footage because there's some great stuff. But also, I would never, ever put anyone out. Like, this doesn't happen very often that I will put someone else out. But I would never put someone else out there that doesn't shoot the same way as me and, is the same personality and brings the same out from the couples, and things like that. So at the end of the day, the footage that I'm getting from them is fairly similar to how I would shoot. So it doesn't make it too much harder to put together in the end.
Yeah, that's great. It's a good thing to hear.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so talking about like that style and having if you're going to have someone stand in for you, that they have the same style. Can you tell us a little bit about your style and why you like shooting in that way?
Yeah, so throughout my years of doing this, I've filmed all different styles of weddings, from like your big, grand, cinematic weddings. Everything's super serious, and you're outside of, and then down to like the kind of indie type of films and things like that. I tend to feel that my approach is I want to capture the couples on the wedding day as they are. I don't really push the couples to act in a way that they're not comfortable with or anything like that. And I think that sort of comes across in the footage and also in the edit, is that it's just not simple, but it's straightforward to watch. The narrative is there and it's easy to understand, and it also represents the lovely couple and how they felt on the wedding day. I don't try to force anything out. Hope I'm answering the question.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah. My style is like candid and relaxed, but also professional up to the point where I know what's going to happen. You can see when things are about to happen.
Yeah.
And capture those moments and capture them right, but authentically, not over the top.
Yeah.
And that's same with the editing. Like, it's not like music video style editing and stuff like that, which I've done in the past and I think looks great. But for me, that doesn't really, I don't get a sense of the couple when I see that. So yeah, nice, romantic, but uplifting. Uplifting's, I guess, the kind of style that I go for.
Yeah, I definitely like get that vibe from your Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Good. That's the way I'm going for. Yeah.
Do you think it's important to choose a photographer which has the same sort of vibe as?
Yeah. I mean, by the time the couples come to us, they've usually got a photographer, and usually they say the name of the photographer, and I'm like, oh, I've worked with them 100 times, type of thing, because we get a lot of recommendations through photographers. But it is super important that you do have a photographer and a videographer where the styles are aligned and personalities are aligned as well, which is hard for you to know before you book your wedding. So a lot of the time, like, if they haven't booked a photographer by the time they get to me, I'll send them recommendations, and likewise type thing. So it's a bit of a lovely community that we all work together. But yeah, super important. Like, you don't want like a super stylistic guy, like a photographer, like, so over the top. He will spend maybe like 10 minutes on one shot. And then you've got like a videographer like myself who likes just to keep things moving, keep things relaxed and have fun with it type thing. So yeah, it's super important that they align in a way. But if they don't, if they're professionals, they should, even if they're completely opposite styles, they should be able, if they're professional enough, they should be able to come together for the couple. Which is the main point of the day, is just being there for you guys, being there for the couples.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So you mentioned like music and choosing music that suits the vibe. I know a lot of people might want to like pick a song that they want over their wedding video.
Yep.
Is that something that couples can do?
Of course they can. It's not something they usually do. It's like pretty much the last few meetings I've had with couples, they've said, can we choose our own music? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Here's the website. They go look at it and they're like, wow, there's 300,000 songs on here. How do we choose? And I'm like, if you leave it to me, I'm very confident. I haven't really ever had to change a full highlights to accommodate new songs and stuff like that. There may be a song that's like, oh, you know what? That's just not us. And then we'd have a meeting after. Or I'd get in touch. I'll give them a phone call and say, hey, here's some suggestions of what you might be after. But yeah, there's definitely websites that the couples can go on and choose that your videographer would, or I would recommend to you, onebeingmusicbed.com. But then you go on there and then you look up happy, uplifting, romantic, and then it's like so many songs to the point you're like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. But that's why you leave it to us most of the time, the professionals, because especially if we film it or live and breathe the day, you know, we can understand what the couple are after and what they're about and things like that. It's not just about being there and pressing record. It's about listening and watching people non-freakily, just watching them. And understanding them.
Yeah. So you mentioned like you'll send them a website. Yeah. So I'm assuming if someone wants like an Ed Sheeran song.
Yeah, so I think the days of that are gone now. Like the whole like we want a commercial song and we will do everything in our power to talk them out of it.
Yeah, right.
However, it sounds like I'm plugging musicbed.com here, but on there they've just released this new AI system on there where you can actually type in Ed Sheeran, The Shape of Love or whatever the song is, and it will use AI to comb through that to find thousands of songs, to find songs that have a similar vibe. It's really creepy how it does it. It's really cool. Yeah. But really like, how did you find that? Because that sounds exactly like an Ed Sheeran song. So that's the way we get around it. If a couple's like, oh, I really want this song, then we'll be like, use this AI software, see what you can find, and let us know. At the end of the day, we want you to be super duper happy. Yeah. If you want an Ed Sheeran song or something like that, we'll put it in, but we can't share it online or anything like that. You couldn't really share it with your friends and family that easily. If you put it up on Facebook, it'll get like taken down and stuff like that.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I know, like, that was something I hadn't even thought about, was like music.
Sure.
And then I saw one person ask the question and I was like, oh, I didn't even consider like giving you a list of songs. I just trusted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'd say like 9 out of 10 couples do trust you to do that. But it might be some, if you get like a video editor or something like that who works in the industry, they might have some suggestions of songs, which is totally fine.
Kind of circling back to, I guess, before the actual wedding day, what goes into the planning process for you as a videographer?
As a videographer, speaking to the couple, usually, so after you've booked a couple, it would be like a month out from the wedding. That's when we'd have a chat. We'd discuss another time that we can catch up on Zoom and have a little chat about the wedding day and really kind of hone in on start times, where I need to be, and then some stylistic choices, and then what's important to you to capture, to make sure that we, you know, to the best of our ability, capture that. So really it's just about communication, you know, and then run sheets and everything like that just getting sent through. But it's pretty straightforward. We book it, then about a month out from the wedding, and I think that's pretty standard for the wedding, because then by then you have an idea of times and things like that. But but most importantly, it's about asking questions about what's important to you. Yeah, what do I make sure that I can really hone in and capture on the wedding day?
Yeah, beautiful.
So what makes a wedding video great?
What makes a wedding video great? If I did it, that makes it great. No, it sounds like my head's already big enough as it is. If you can watch a film and you don't know the couple at all, by the end of that film, you're like, I feel like I know these people to a degree. That's when a wedding film, in my opinion. If you can watch a film and know the couple and what makes them tick and what they love about each other on a wedding day, that's what, to me, makes a great film. It's not like the flashy editing or even the simplistic editing of style and stuff like that. It's more just about, I know this couple now and I know what makes them tick. If I saw them in the street, I feel like I could say hi to these guys, even though it would be weird and they wouldn't know me at all. It'd be very strange if I walked up and said, but I feel like I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, same. I think like, you know, when you watch something like a clip on TikTok or something and you as like you don't know the couple and you're already like tearing up and
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
it's like they
You
did
feel
a
the
good
emotion.
job.
Yeah, 100%.
That's me all the time. I spend half the time on TikTok crying, like watching wedding
Yeah.
videos.
Even after the wedding day, you're still quite into, I mean, well, you're in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, our like Save the Date socials feed is just all weddings.
Yeah, amazing.
And I'm like, I love it. I just go
Scrolling
through.
through.
Yeah.
Good.
In terms of people budgeting and then deciding how long you're there for on
Sure.
the day, because do they get a choice of how long they have you for? Or?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing for me to talk about right now because I'm actually possibly moving away from that whole
Okay.
like, it's either 8, 10 or 12 hours type of thing. It's
Yep.
like I'm thinking of possibly moving more towards like, this is a price. It's a little bit more than it is now, but you have me from the beginning of the day, like the boys getting ready up until the end of formalities and a bit of dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, that could be like 12, 13 hours or that could be 10 hours type of thing. That's sort of like what I'm moving into, what I'm thinking of moving into, which I've seen a few people in the industry do, and it completely uncomplicates things. It's like, what time's the boys getting ready in their dress? All right, I'll be there up until the end it's needed. Not the end of the night, because then that can be like an extra 3 hours of people just dancing and you getting the same thing over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But some couples want that
Yeah.
type of thing. But at the moment, it's sort of structured in like an hourly 8, 10, and 12 hours, which most people will go for the 10-hour type of thing. But when it comes to budgets, I think a lot of videographers, I'd say they're quite similar. I'd say like, not underselling myself or anything like that, but my prices are quite low at the moment because I really just want to get out there, get the name of Solasta Weddings out there. And anyone that's watching this is thinking of getting in contact. That's not going to happen for very long, so you better get in touch.
Getting through.
Yeah, the prices are going to go up. But when it comes to budgeting, I would definitely say set some aside for a videographer, a good videographer as well, and not just go by the cost, because you might look at my costs and go, oh, he's a bit cheaper, he's probably not that good. Look at the quality of the work as well, and then you'll see where that budget can actually go the wedding day.
Yeah. On that same kind of note of couples budgeting and everything, how far in advance do they need to be thinking about actually getting in contact and booking in?
I would say if you're contacting photographers, that's the time to contact the videographer as well. Like I'm booked out, like I've got stuff for like November of next year.
Yeah, wow.
Next year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, like you have like, but the thing is, it's unfortunate of having to turn away people now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though like I have some shooters that are amazing, but I've already got them on other shoots type of thing, and I'm having to be brokenhearted a lot by couples from March, especially of next year, who are getting in contact, and I see the date and I'm like, we can't do that type of thing, and then they get disappointed and stuff like that because they were like, oh, we really loved your work and things like that, and we love what we've seen of you online and stuff like that. We really want you guys to be there. And it's like, even though it's a year out from the wedding, you need to get in contact like pretty quickly. Like I said, if you're booking the photographer, book the videographer at the same time.
Same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then I guess you mentioned having other videographers that you can kind of get in contact with.
Sure.
On that same sort of note, if like under very what's the word? Unforeseen circumstances, like you were unable to make it on the day.
Yep.
What happens in that case? Like, do you have...
It's a good question. I feel like
People
I'm
you
actually
can
having a
go
meeting
to?
with a couple right now. Yeah, they ask that question all the time, and it's a great question to ask. Look, the reality of it is, if, say, something was to happen, look, it would take the world ending for me to not go to a wedding. It would take for me to be like, I am super contagious, and if I come, you're all going to get sick.
Yeah.
So in that instance, I would reach out to the community of people, the pool of people that I know that can do the job right. I'd reach out to them and say, hey, who's free? Hopefully one of them are like, yeah, we're free. And then I'd actually schedule like a quick chat with the couple and the videographer as well, just to make sure that they're along the same lines before I put them out. Look, if we cannot get anybody in, you would 100% get all your money back.
Yeah.
The business way of just saying that is just, it feels gross to say, as in like, I would never want it to get to that for a couple.
Yeah.
That would break my heart if that happened, and then they couldn't have a videographer there on the day to capture all those moments. But yeah, first, if I was sick, I would go into the pool of people that I know and believe would do a really good job, like I have in the past. And if they're not available, then it would be, I'm so sorry, but we can't make it. Give me your bank details and we'll send you just everything back. It's because it's not your fault.
Yeah.
100% it's not your fault. You deserve this money back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. And then I'd put the phone down and I'd probably cry a little for the couple.
Yeah.
Not for the money that's just gone back,
Yeah.
but for the couple.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, that's good to know that like you, I guess, and I mean most videographers I assume would be similar. They have that kind of close group of people that are in the industry that they can turn to
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Absolutely.
case something like that happens.
Yeah. It's like I'm also on call as well for other videographers if they really need help. Like I've done it a couple of times. They'll call up and be like, "Hey, it was during COVID time, especially, or just after that when people are getting married. And they're like, I've got COVID. I obviously cannot go. Can you please go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I feel fine. I feel great.
Yeah.
Just give me the details. I'll give the bride a call, check in, introduce myself, so I'm not a total stranger in the day. Go and film, give them the footage, and yeah, have a great day."
Yeah, perfect. This is kind of an awkward question.
I like the little giggle there before it started. Here we go.
But have you ever had somebody say to you after they've gotten their footage back that they don't at all like the video? And like, what does that process, I guess, look like?
I have
Or what
worked.
would
I
it
have
look
worked for
like?
other companies where that has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for my Solasta Wedding Films, it's never happened. I'm not saying it won't happen. It could happen. You know, styles just might not align, or after the wedding day, I don't know what could happen. I'm very thorough in my filming and like my discussions beforehand to make sure I've got everything. You're about to say that you're unhappy with your footage, aren't you?
No.
Yeah. You're about. That's what you're sort of getting around to. She's about to say, "Well, now that I've got you here, by the way, I hate everything that was captured."
It's the worst thing
and
I've ever.
No, it's one of those things. If it's the highlights film, like
Yeah.
I will definitely discuss with the couple and say, "Look, what's important to me is I want you guys to be 100% happy. So what can we do to make this work? Editing style and stuff like that, or music and approach and stuff like that." But you know, we are one person, sometimes two people on a wedding day, two shooters, and we can only be in one place at once. So you might get a couple or a bride that's like, "Oh, did you get this moment?" And you're like, "I'm sorry, I was at the other side of the venue filming something else. So I apologize, that wasn't captured, but we can only be in one place at one time." But no, I haven't had that yet through my own stuff, but I have seen it before happen, and yeah, it's not nice to see type of thing. It wasn't something that I filmed, it was something I was putting together for a couple, and they were like, "Where's this moment?" I was like, it's not there. It's just not there type of thing. We're not talking about a moment during the ceremony or the speeches or something like that where you capture everything. You know, it might be a moment with like, you know, I gave my grandma a hug earlier in the day. Did you capture that? Nope. Why not? It's like, you can't capture everything. It's like the photographer as well, the same type of deal.
Yeah, well, I can vouch for you kind of doing everything that you can to make your couples happy, because and this is also a note for people that like, if there is something that you think is missing, still just ask the question. Because there was a moment with my niece, she was holding my bouquet and I didn't think that it was captured because of when it happened that she was giving me back my bouquet, but it wasn't obviously in our highlights reel. And I said to Gareth, "Hey, is there any chance this was captured? Like, it was really sweet." And unfortunately it wasn't, but like Gareth put in so many other clips of me with my niece that it was like, it's fine.
Like if that particular moment, say you hugging your grandma or something like that, isn't in the film, then there'll be footage of you guys together. So let me look through the footage and I'll find something that, you know, is quite close or similar
in place.
That type of thing.
Yeah. And you mentioned making that highlight film.
Sure.
Do you get given all the other footage as a bulk, or like what do you get as a package?
Yeah, I personally make sure the couple see everything.
Yep.
I don't hide anything behind like a big paywall. I know a lot of videographers, and rightfully so, it's up to them, that they only give the ceremony and the speeches, and then you have to pay like an extra X amount if you want the rest. I don't do that. I just like to include it in the package. You get everything apart from me filming my feet, accidentally walking from one place to the next, which happens all the time. Every videographer, every one I've ever edited for other people, there's always that footage where they sit it down on the table and walk away, and you're like, That's a really long clip. That's 5 minutes. What is that? And it's just them, the camera sitting on a table.
Yeah.
We get rid of all that
Nothing.
stuff.
Yeah.
Sync up all the cameras, color correction, audio syncing from multiple, audio sources, and put that in a nice custom on a USB, and we send that over to them for them to watch in their TVs or put it in their laptops and things like that. So yeah, but I think it's definitely moving into the age of digital where we might start doing like online galleries
Oh yeah.
instead,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can go on like, your own personal website and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't hide anything
Yeah.
apart from that accidental filming.
I think that's really cool too, because obviously you get the like stylized highlights reel that really tells the story
Yeah.
in like 5 or 6 minutes. But then if you do want to go back and watch like literally the whole day,
Yeah.
you can
can.
sit there and watch literally every single second of the day.
Yeah, everything
is-
that was captured for sure.
Yeah.
You can get hours of footage and you can sit and watch it. You might not do a lot, but I do feel like the highlight film is made so for you to watch more often.
Yeah.
If you're sitting down, you're like, oh, I want to relive this day for a minute. Then you watch it, but then you've got hours of footage on top of that to watch as well, if
Yeah.
need be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the people, obviously all of your like clients would get the full edited footage. What are your thoughts on them like editing bits up to post on like their socials?
I have no issues
Okay.
with them using. I mean, it's theirs.
Yeah.
They've paid for the service type thing. As the way I look at it is, I don't particularly own that footage. That's theirs. It's like if a corporate client contracts you to come in and do a shoot, like that's their footage at the end of the day, and it's not yours. Yeah, I haven't really had too much of that happen, of people using the footage, because usually what I make for them is good enough. Or if
Yeah.
a couple gets in contact and say, hey, can you possibly just export this 30 seconds if it's like no editing required, and just to put a little song underneath it, I can do that for you.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to do. But yeah, I'm more than happy for people to take their footage and do what they want with it.
Cool. Love that. Noted.
Yeah.
I'll start
Yeah.
posting all of mine.
Yeah. Or just hit me up. Hit me up, let's chat.
On the podcast Instagram, we just get this whole influx of your wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. Go
Yeah, keep
for
an
it.
eye out. You'll start seeing it.
Just tag me. Just tag me.
All right. So what is your favorite moment that you've ever caught on camera? Do you have one?
I wouldn't say it's a favorite moment per se, but it's a favorite moment of most weddings that I capture. And it's the part that always gets me misty-eyed behind the camera. And it might not be what you think it is, but it's not the groom seeing his bride for the first time. It's either the mother or the father seeing the daughter
Yeah.
for the first time, because I have a little girl and just I can't stop thinking about her when I'm in that moment filming.
Yeah.
And that's what really gets me misty-eyed, thinking about the one day, touch wood, that I'm there to see that, because she's only 5 years old. You know what I mean? So that's probably like my favorite moment to capture, is like the father seeing his daughter for the first time. Even if he doesn't get like emotional or anything like that, that doesn't matter. It's just that moment is captured. And then if they do like a first dance song and they play like Butterfly Kisses or something like that, I am gone. Behind the camera, I am. I put my face right up to the camera so no one can see me, but like after, like I'm just bawling my eyes out, because those are my favorite moments. Or the second favorite, I guess you could say, would be the groom seeing his bride for the first time. If he has like a nice reaction. We're always like filming the brides walking up and we're like looking over at him. Okay, whoa, that's a good moment. All right, back to her type thing.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite moments to
I
capture for
love
sure.
that.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you what your favorite part of the day is, but it sounds like that might be it.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on people pulling out their phones during the ceremony and stuff when you're trying to film? Like, do you think that ruins your video?
I go up to every celebrant before the wedding and say, hey, can you just make an announcement?
Yeah.
Like, to put phones away. A lot of the time they don't listen, and I get that the fact that they are there and they want to have that moment, the instant gratification of capturing the moment, maybe sending it to like a grandmother overseas or something like that. That's totally cool. I understand that. But it's only if the bride's about to walk up the aisle and you get an ant standing in the middle like this.
Yeah.
I will literally
Yes.
I will literally go up and be like, excuse me,
Move.
move. Yeah, like I try to be really cordial about it and nice about it. But it gets to the point sometimes where you just have to hit their hand
Yeah.
and be like, I'm capturing this. Get it. Get it. You're blocking. This is like the seminal moment of some people's life is walking up that aisle.
Yeah.
And I can't capture it.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So I don't particularly like it. I wouldn't do it even at a friend's wedding. I wouldn't pull out my phone, but maybe that's because I just know that if they've got a videographer there or a photographer that's capturing that moment, don't worry. You'll get to see it.
Yeah.
Just put it away. But letting the celebrant know is really important so they can make an announcement. Like, we live in a day and age where they probably will make an announcement regardless.
Yeah.
The celebrant will say that before the wedding. But put your phones away. Just try to live in the moment. Try.
Yeah.
Try your best.
Yeah.
I think as well, like having like been a bride and walked down the aisle, we did that, like no phones during the ceremony. And I couldn't like think of anything worse than walking down like with all of these people that are closest to me and like not being able to actually make eye contact with them because they're like looking,
they're watching it through the screen.
watching it through a screen.
Yeah, it'd be
like
the worst.
It's kind of makes it a bit impersonal.
Yeah.
At the same time as well, like even though they're getting like the footage for themselves, like you're not being able to connect with them. So
And don't you just feel like if someone's like, if you've got all these cameras on you, just, I don't know, something impersonal about walking up the aisle and having all like the cameras sort of pointing at you and stuff like that. You've already got me up there, off to the side, trying to be secret about it, but you still got me up there and the photographer capturing it and having like 50 cameras just turning around and looking at you. I don't know. It's strange. If it was my wedding, I would be telling everyone, just don't.
Phones away.
Put it away.
Yeah.
Or I'll go up and hit them. Hit their hand. No, I won't go up and slap. I won't go up and slap your aunt in the face and be like, put it away. I won't do that, but I'll be like, move your hand.
Oh gosh. All right. So our last question for you: what is coming for Solasta Wedding Films? Like, what are your plans for the future?
The plans are really to hone in on the back end of stuff. Like my website at the moment, it looks more like an elegant filmmaker than I actually am because it's like black and white type of thing. And I really want to work on that back end of things and build a brand that represents me as a person. Because if I go out and I'm not myself on the wedding day, if I feel like I'm representing a brand, it's just not me. I don't have as much fun with it. So it's really sort of building that brand around me, or not so me, but the personality of me. Type thing, and getting more into the social media side of things would be nice to do. I'm not the best at it. Like, I don't know if I'm at that age group that's just a bit past that type thing. You guys do great in your social media. I don't know how you find the time to do all that and everything like that. I mean, you've got a
That's
team
my
behind
full-time
the
job.
camera.
So that's our full-time job. So.
Well, that's true. That is your full-time job. So yeah, I would love to get on that side of things. And yeah, I would like to get me and my brand out there a lot more. But I think that comes down to finding the time to do it. And winter is usually the downtime for us. But like that just hasn't really happened over the past couple of years. Things tend to happen with me maybe being a slightly lower price point, not by quality, but just by price point. People in winter having maybe a bit of a cheaper wedding, might be more inclined to get in contact with me, and I work through winter as well. But just trying to find the time to do that.
Yeah.
Rebrand a little bit, but keeping the same name and the same vibe.
Yeah.
Just be myself.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, Gareth, thank you so much for joining us today.
pleasure.
It has been an absolute pleasure having you. Can you please let our listeners know where they can find you?
You can find me at solastaweddings.com. That's where you can see like a few of the films, and there's a few links to like my social media accounts and things like that. And yeah, you can get in touch with me there or through Instagram. Mainly through the website has been a great portal to do that, but also Instagram has also been a great way for younger couples who are savvy with social media and find you on Instagram to hit you up on there. So yeah, I should know this. Why don't I know this? I set it up and then I just let it live. I think it's Solasta Wedding Films.
Solasta Wedding Films.
Okay, yeah, cool. You can keep all this in, yeah? Yeah, okay, yeah. Solasta Wedding Films on Instagram.
Perfect. Well, we will have that all linked in the show notes for everybody as well. So you'll be able to just click a link on there and go straight to all of Gareth's socials and his website.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Save the Date podcast. We hope you learned something new. And if you're currently planning your wedding, congratulations, good luck, and have fun.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you follow or subscribe and leave us a review wherever it is that you're listening.
Make sure that you come and connect with us on our socials at the Save the Date podcast and join our Facebook group, the Save the Date community. We hope you have a wonderful day or night, and we'll be back with another episode next week. Bye.
Bye.